Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode from the Hermitcraft server. I hope you guys are having a great day. I am having a fantastic day, and today I kind of want to put like some finishing touches on the base, on the castle project. Lots of little tiny things that need doing. And honestly, this is a project, like I've said in the last couple episodes, the castle's not going to get done. Not properly. It won't have, there'll be lots of like unfinished areas, because that's just kind of what happens sometimes. But I want to do kind of as many little things today as we can to kind of clean this thing up, and get it as prepared as possible for, the end of Season 5, which is coming pretty soon. I will say that much. Now, let's see, we need this. We also need quite a bit of iron. Okay. I actually don't have as much iron as I thought, but we have a lot of iron ore here. So I think what I'll do is I'll look at some of this stuff smelting, and then let's just grab a shulker box of cobblestone as well. And hopefully this will be enough to at least kind of get us on our way here. We did finish the walls last episode, which was great. I'm glad that that happened, and that part at least finished. Anything useful in these? Nope. Okay. Or actually, no, it would be... Yeah. All right, so... Fuel in the top. It's been a long time since I've had to use this thing. I barely remember how it even works. Fuel in the top. Or in the bottom. Get that going. There we go. Yes. So anyway, first things first, we're going to go over here by the cathedral. And I realized there was one cobblestone wall that you guys told me I messed up. I fixed it. There was also in a previous episode when we did this little gate thing, this was messed up as well. These were down a level from where they were. Don't shut my face thing. We're down a level from where they should be. And I fixed that as well. So there's some things like that that have happened kind of off camera that I did go back and fix. I think right here, I want to kind of build, we need to build this up a bit so that it kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's not going to be, and I'm fine with that. I just need this to kind of like flow with the wall a little bit and not have this like goofy thing. There we go. That should be, oh, and this is like floating as well. Let's just kind of plug some of these holes there if we can. Put a block here. Yeah, good enough. Okay, great. Now, there's a lot of stuff over here that still needs to be done. Let me grab well, I didn't mean to grab both crafting benches, but okay. We're going to make a whole bunch of iron bars, because you can see, if we look at this whole thing is supposed to have iron bars connecting it up, and I think when I was doing this, I think I just ran out of iron bars, actually. But we'll fix it up a little bit. Oh, wow, that's a much larger gap. Let's see. Let's say like right here. We'll put another one of these. I'm going to have to clean that up as well. And then we also need to do our cobblestone. I don't think I'm going to get the giant texture variation mix done that I've done throughout the rest of the castle. But I do want to get rid of this grass at least and turn that into cobblestone to make it easier for anyone down the road who decides that they want to essentially finish the castle for me. That way you'll already kind of have the base to work on. There we go. That looks pretty good. We need one more andesite block over here. I don't think I have any andesite. Dark oak, cobblestone. If I did, it would be in my ender chest. Or, actually, there's some other shulker boxes over here by this tower. That's also on our list of things to do today, if we can, is clean up any shulker boxes and things like that that are just sort of lying around. There's one. And I've got cobblestone on me. Let's just take these with us. we'll just get that away. And come to think of it, while we're over here, let's fill in this as well. I started doing this off camera a couple days ago, and then I ran out of grass and just never really went back to it. So let's just fill that in too. Okay, and you as well. Sure, good enough. Anyway, back to our little problem over here. Grab you. I'll put that right there. I'm thinking a lot of this stuff we can just put away because it doesn't really matter. So let's just do that. And then I need just a little bit of cobblestone to make a couple walls. And actually, I need a lot of cobblestone, not just a little bit. But anyway, I'll do this. I will take these out. I should have... Yeah, this will work. We'll just put all of that except for one in here. Throw the grass in there as well. Just trying to kind of make some space in here for stuff that I'll actually need. Take that. Okay. I think we are good. Give me my one iron bar, my lonely iron bar. Put that here and there. Lovely. Okay. So then we get to doing a little bit of this stuff. Now, I do have a little bit of talking to do regarding things. So for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you may have noticed some stuff happening. I will say, if you don't have a Twitter account, okay, I understand. But if you do have a Twitter account and you're interested in Hermitcraft, you should probably be following like all of the hermits, because when it comes to kind of teasing Season 6, right? Hype, stuff like that. We do a lot of that type of stuff on Twitter. Also, Bad Times with Scar has joined the server. I'm terrified. This could be a disaster. I don't know who this Bad Times with Scar fellow is, but no, it's Scar's camera account. But anyway, so yeah, Twitter is a thing. There's some hype tweets that have gone out, some sneaky things. And at this point, you guys know that Season 6 is coming. You just don't know the details of Season 6. And to be frank, you guys will not know all the details of Season 6 until it actually starts. I think you guys are going to be really excited for it, though. I think, last episode we talked a little bit about kind of comparing Season 4 and Season 5 and how I think a lot of the magic, so to speak, of Season 4 was kind of lost in Season 5. Not to say that Season 5 was a bad season. There was a lot of really cool stuff that happened in Season 5. I mean, the castle project alone, I think, is probably my favorite thing that I've ever built in survival. So, yeah, well, maybe not my favorite. I mean, Regnum from Kingdoms was pretty sweet, but I don't know. It's up there. This whole castle project was one of my favorite things that I've ever built, if not my absolute favorite. But with that said, we're taking some of the lessons, right? Sometimes you try things and it doesn't quite work out the way that you had intended. Sometimes you experiment and the experiment ends in a failure. You don't get the reaction that you were hoping for. And that's okay, especially in YouTube, especially in any sort of like creative profession, like creating YouTube videos. Sometimes you have this idea and you implement the idea and then it fails miserably. Or sometimes it succeeds, but it doesn't work quite as well as you thought or whatever. And I will say that for Season 6, we are learning from our quote-unquote mistakes. We put an absurd amount of thought into each season and into what we're planning and all this other kind of stuff. Not everything is planned. Not everything is scripted or anything like that. It's not, in fact, very little is actually scripted, outside of maybe like some role play type stuff. And even that's usually not like, most of that's kind of like improvised. But at the same time, we put a lot of thoughts into these things. There was a post in the Minecraft subreddit the other day that said something along the lines of like, was Wells foreshadowing Season 5 in his Season 4 epilogue. And I put out a video at the very, 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 very end of Season 4 last year, where I teleported myself in a TARDIS to actually right here. I was in that epilogue video. I went from the Season 4 world, and I teleported to approximately right here, give or take. Somewhere in here. Now, at the time, this was all Dark Oak Forest. You wouldn't recognize it at this point. But there was some foreshadowing there. I also, and the question asked in that Reddit post was he foreshadowing, he said that there was nobody else around. Was he foreshadowing that we were going to be a lot more spread out this season? And the answer is yes, actually. That was very deliberate because our plan as a group for this season was to be a lot more spread out and to really kind of focus on base building. That's not to say that we planned to lose the community aspect. That wasn't the intent. But we definitely did plan to be a bit more spread out this season. That was very intentional. And I did foreshadow that very intentionally in my Season 4 epilogue video. So it just, and that's just one example. I'm using that as an example to show that, yeah, we actually put a lot of time and a lot of thought into preparing for these seasons and stuff like that. And I think, let's make this one a grass block as well, just to kind of try and transition this a little bit into grass over there. I think that's good. So yeah, as I said, very, very intentional. Almost everything we do is discussed at length. We don't have, as I've said in previous videos, there's no leader of Hermitcraft. There's no one person in charge. There's no one who's the boss, so to speak. That's not to say that absolutely everything is decided with a group discussion. It's not required that we have a group discussion for every little minor nitpicky thing, but all the important stuff is decided as a group. And when it comes to planning for a new season and stuff like that, there's a lot of group discussion. We have been having meetings to plan for and discuss ideas and all that kind of stuff for the next season for months, in fact. And we're really, really looking forward to it as a group. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I am so excited. This is probably the most excited I've been for a new vanilla series since I was invited to join Hermitcraft, honestly. I'm trying to think, what other vanilla? I mean, obviously, to be fair, the only vanilla series I've done since then have been Kingdoms and Hermitcraft Season 4 and 5, so that's maybe it would be better to say this is probably the most excited I've been for a Minecraft series since I was invited to other than Hermitcraft Season 4. And that was because, it was a brand new Hermit back then. That was my first Hermitcraft season, and I was like, man, this is going to be super awesome, and it's going to be incredible. I'm going to be playing with some of the best people in the world, and on and on and on it goes. And then that's not to say that that's any different now. I'm still very excited to be here. And I love the fact excuse me, that really some of the best vanilla Minecraft players in the world are part of this server. I don't necessarily count myself among them, but some of the people who are members of Hermitcraft are people who have done incredible things in this game, far beyond building a cool castle or something like that. There's been incredible amounts of innovation and all sorts of stuff over the course of the existence of Minecraft from a lot of the people on the Hermitcraft members list. And I'm super excited to be on that list. It's pretty cool. A lot of people, I'm also just going to mention this right now because it's asked every time I talk about something like this. And it's also asked every time that people kind of come to the conclusion that the season is winding down. How do you become a hermit? The answer, the short answer is you don't. The long answer is, you know the right people. You become friends with the right people. You make good, consistent content over a long period of time. You slowly build relationships with the people within the group, and eventually you may be invited. There's no application. There's no way to ask to join Hermitcraft and be part of it. Like, that's just not how it works. And that's not to say that, like, it's not like an elitism sort of thing or anything like that. It's not like you're not worthy to join Hermit. It's nothing like that at all. The thing is, what we value more than just about anything else when it comes to adding new members is how those new people are going to interact with other members of the group. Like, we want to make sure that that everyone will get along, and that people will be able to get together and they kind of gel. If you know what I mean. Like, they are good at building off of each other when it comes to being entertaining, right? Like, you can like some people when they're creating content together. Look at like Iskall and Rendog are a great example, right? They're very, very good friends, and when they get together to make videos, like, it's always good. It's always entertaining, because the two of them they gel together, like, really, really well. And we want to make sure that that's something that's going to happen before we invite someone to the group. Because the reality is, we don't need more hermits. We've got, roughly 25 people in this group, and we don't need that many people. And in fact, I think that 25-ish is like kind of the perfect number for a server like Hermitcraft. Is somewhere between like 15 and 25. I think anything too much beyond that is like too many people, because you get to the point where you can't really keep track of everyone. And some would say we're already kind of at that point where you don't know, there's no way that the average person has the time to watch every single video from every single hermit. It's just, there's not enough hours in the day, and at the same time, like the Hermitcraft recap, the unofficial Hermitcraft recap, Zloy and Pixel Riffs, they do an amazing job of kind of like keeping everybody in the loop as to what's going on for all the people who don't have time to watch everything from Hermitcraft. But at the same time, like, there's only so much you can do. And I think it's, it happens where, even now, there's people who are like, who's this person? I've never heard of this person, and it's someone who's been on the server for a long time, I had someone ask me the other day, who's Joe Hills? I'm like, Joe's been a hermit. Joe's like an OG hermit. He's been around, he's been part of the Hermitcraft server forever, since like season 1. And some people, even to this day, don't know who he is, even though he's one of the funniest and most kind of witty people that I've ever met. He's an interesting character. But anyway, I could go on a tangent about that, but I'm not going to go on a tangent about Joe because I have other important things to talk about. So anyway, going back to this discussion of how to become a hermit, the answer is like, there is no quick way. There is no guaranteed way to become a hermit. It's something that happens over time as you kind of get to know people and you become friends with people on Hermitcraft and stuff like that. Like, it's a gradual thing that takes time. Before I joined Hermitcraft, as an example, I knew Python, I knew Zul'jin, I knew XB, I knew quite a few people, at least to some extent. I wouldn't say I was like best friends. I didn't know, I wasn't like invited to Zul'jin's anniversary or anything like that, but but I mean, I knew them well enough, and they knew me well enough, Python as well, et cetera, that they kind of knew like who I was as a person. And that for us is like way more important than subscriber count or how good someone is at the game or like any other factor you can think of. We're way more worried about kind of maintaining the right environment in the group, I guess you would say, like the right kind of social dynamic where everyone is friends and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So in answer to the question that I'm always asked, how do you join Hermitcraft? Can I join Hermitcraft for season 6? The answer is no. Just to be blunt and direct, the answer is no. That's something where it's almost a certainty that if somebody asks to join Hermitcraft, they are probably not someone who would be joining Hermitcraft. That's just the reality of it, and that's not a dig on anyone who wants to join Hermitcraft. I certainly wanted to join Hermitcraft before I did. And to be honest, I probably did do some asking about like, hey, you should consider me for Hermitcraft. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But knowing me, I probably asked some people at some point about stuff like that. But, you know, that's not the way to go about it where it's actually likely that it will happen. You know, it's really just about relationships and about like getting to know the group and the members within the group. And then on top of that, you know, being someone who makes good, entertaining content consistently over a long period of time and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to kind of nip that one in the bud, and I hate to crush people's dreams. And, you know, as I said, I'm sure, in fact, I remember distinctly, I certainly wanted to join Hermitcraft before I actually, why am I using, no, I want cobble, please, thank you. I certainly wanted to join Hermitcraft before I did. I didn't just like get an invite out of the blue. But yeah, it's one of those things. And those things are also all decided by group discussion. Who we would invite to a new server, or to a server, whether in the middle of a season or during a season or at the start of a season or like whatever. All of that type of stuff is decided by a group, and it's got to be like unanimous. We don't, you know, if there's one, it's not like decided by, a lot of people seem to think that like ikezou is the lord and master of Hermitcraft and is in charge of everything. And that's not true. ikezou is not the leader of Hermitcraft. He's probably the closest thing we have to a leader. He's certainly like an administrator, I would say. He does a lot of like the server maintenance type stuff and all the, you know, all the boring stuff that somebody has to do that nobody wants to. That's basically what ikezou does. But he's not like the leader. He's not the one. He doesn't have like veto power or anything like that. That's just not how the group works. So it's not about getting to know any one person. It's just kind of like a group thing. It's this big sort of elaborate group type thing that I don't know. I've rambled on long enough about it, and you know, ultimately it doesn't really matter that much. But when it comes to you know, if someone wants to join Hermitcraft, we kind of know what we're looking for in a new member, and trust me, we are pretty much always aware of the people who could potentially become hermits, right? Like down the road. Like say, I don't know, say a couple years from now, right? There's a bunch of people who have stopped doing YouTube or moved on in life or don't really do Minecraft anymore or whatever, right? Just as an example. And we come to this conclusion that like we need new people to join the group. Like we have a list. We have people who are friends with members of the group and all that kind of stuff. Also going completely changing gears. This actually looks okay. Like I'm gonna leave it like that. It's not perfect, but it will do for the time being. I'm also gonna get rid of this giant stone brick wall marker. This was going to be a wall originally, but I changed my mind about that. So we're gonna just do away with like all of this. This is going back to that kind of like clean up the area process that I was talking about earlier in the episode. I'm just trying to like clean up this area and sort of make it as presentable as possible before the season ends, even though I know I'm not gonna be able to finish this project in time, and that's fine. That's something that I honestly, when the end of Season 6 comes, I will probably also have unfinished projects. When the end of Season 7 comes, I will probably have it's just the reality of doing a Minecraft series, is that there's almost always some unfinished project. In fact, I bet most of you probably have at least one unfinished project in your world. Whether it's a big ambitious project or something a little bit smaller, odds are you probably have something in your world that isn't finished, that you started and either lost motivation on, or just maybe you got sidetracked and distracted into doing something else, or who knows. I don't think I've ever seen a Minecraft world like a proper survival world, I should say. You know, obviously, if you start like a creative world where your goal is to build one specific thing, like, and you finish the project, then okay, fair enough. But like a survival world is what I'm talking about. I don't think I've ever seen like a proper survival world that had at least, that had absolutely nothing finished, right? Like, that's just the reality of Minecraft. And that's part of what makes this game so engaging and so fun, is that there's always something new to do. There's always something else you could do that you haven't done yet, whether it's building a farm or designing a house or making a city or like, you know, nether portal, nether tunnel stuff. I mean, there's always something else you could do in this game. And sometimes you finish things and sometimes you don't. I'm gonna do that as well. That goes to a redstone switch, but that's fine. Let's maybe get rid of you. Kind of bring that over. I'm just trying to like clean up this hillside a little bit. I was actually gonna get Scar to terraform this whole thing, but I don't think he would have the time to do a good job of it. So I think that's fine as well. Is there anything else that I felt? Come on, fly. You can do it. There we go. Is there anything else here that really has to get done right now? I don't think so. I think we've made this essentially as presentable as we're going to. We added in some more pavement and stuff. There's still that all, like, if I had an infinite number of hours in the day, right? If I had the ability to, like, stop time and I would have as much time as I wanted, I'd be the only one who would be able to interact with this world, and nothing else would be happening in the outside world around me. Here's how I would envision this going, right? This would all be paved, going all the way around the castle. This wall would come along the coast, kind of wrap around the cathedral, and cut around here. There'd be like a watchtower or some sort of fortification on top of this hill. The wall would wrap all the way around the coast and probably would come up right next to this dock. So you'd basically have to like go through the wall if you dock at the docks, right? There'd be like a gate so that ships could bring stuff in, but it would still be defended. This would probably be more town back here, kind of like what we have over there. We'd have a lot more houses, kind of all over the place. I'd probably put a garden for the castle, like right here, like a big kind of fancy royal garden sort of thing. And then maybe over on this side, I think it'd be kind of cool if there was like a jousting arena or something like that. Some sort of like entertainment for the people that live here. That could be kind of cool. Also, the keep would have another batch of walls going around it. I mean, there's a lot left here that I would love to have done. And that if I had infinite time, would probably get done. But at this point, it's good. We accomplished a lot over the course of this season. We'll talk about that more in the next episode. Because guys, I'm out of time for this one. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.